Hello there guys, it's me again. I just want to disclose before we get started that I'm going to be a little bit more open in some parts of this video, but other than that, let's get underway. This is the behind the scenes of Dino Quest Phase 2, Shadows of the Past. Dino Quest Phase 2 picks up 3 years in the Gigas cameo and 5 years in the rest of the episode after episode 4. When I originally wrote Dino Quest 2, which is what it used to be called, which I think must have been in 2016, I don't think I actually had an idea of the time jump, but I think Perseus was a lot older than he is in the rest of Dino Quest. I think one of the biggest gripes I have against myself as far as Phase 2 goes is episodes 7 and 8 should have been one episode. Like, I wrote everything that takes place at Backyard, so in Phase 1 and in Phase 3. Both of those battles were designed to be split in half, but I didn't really think too much about it for the battle in Phase 2, and the slowed down shot as well. But yeah, I don't know why, I was just so set on this whole thing of 4 episodes per phase, which of course got broken as soon as Backyard 2 ballooned into that gigantic thing. Be glad that episode 11 was not 40 minutes. So, another episode that I have a personal issue with is episode 6, The Road to Nowhere. I do notice that I think I might be the only person who has a problem with the pacing, because I don't know what it is, but I just don't like how slow it went. Like, for a 21-minute episode, not a lot happens, except walking. Also, I am really peeved at myself that I did not either come back the next day or reshoot a whole bunch of stuff in the wastes where you can't hear the dialogue because of the wind. That was a real pain. I know there will be heaps of people out there who will be yelling at their screens saying you should stop using raw camera audio and stuff, but don't blame me, I'm a cheapskate. But before we get to other problems, I just want to have a quick talk about some characters. So, characters introduced in episode 6, we've got Vegas, which is not spelt like Las Vegas. That might be confusing, it's actually US, not AS. I actually just pulled a word out of the dictionary, and Vegas means wandering, which I thought was quite apt for the leader of the mountain nomads. And then Ablet, the desert nomad, which means bleak. Connor was dreamed up on the spot. Same with Tapad. There's a whole load of characters in Dino Quest who were not in the script. Like, the script for Dino Quest is essentially just a basic outline, so all of the dialogue is unscripted. Most of the characters are unscripted, like the Bristonius soldier with a German accent from Phase 1, he was dreamed up on the spot. But yeah, I also just kind of needed a character to replace Vegas when he dies. One last thing I want to bring up about the mountain nomads is in relation to filming. Well, Phase 2 was the last time I used this. This tripod, which cost me $40, has been broken for, I'd say, about a year, because the legs inside their rubber sleeves have just popped out of the sockets, which was a real pain in the butt. But then I went to Harvey Norman and got this GorillaPod, so this is way better, and I really should have just bought one of these from the beginning. Of course, this tripod is also the cause of one shot I didn't redo, in episode 6. When I was rewatching to make this video, I couldn't actually spot it, but I wonder if there's anybody who did, because at some point during Vegas's conversation with Drake, there's an awkward cut, simply because the tripod fell over, and I didn't reshoot the shot, so there's about 4 words missing from that shot. And, yeah, I don't know why I didn't reshoot that. Right, so before I move on to some more specific stuff in relation to characters and things, I just want to talk about locations. So, in the last behind the scenes I already showed you some of the key locations, most of which we returned to, of course, in Phase 2, but naturally there are some new locations, like the Wastes was just a river trail, which is why it was so windy, because it was really open. And the Forbidden Zone, like, Billy's comment about it being a pleasant picnic spot is no joke, because it is literally just a public park, and in the opening shot of that scene you can actually see a city council rubbish bin. But within the bush at the top of that hill is the one location I am never going to ever return to. And there is one reason. Giant mosquitoes. So, yes, Scrubwood Studios, if you're watching this, I have sympathy for your midges problem. But I bet you weren't dealing with mosquitoes the size of blowflies. Oh, and the other location is Burren Brown again. So, of course, the opening of episode 5 is actually setting up for phase 3, where we get to see Gigas for the first time. And Gigas was originally a character who was introduced properly to the gang in Dino Quest 2, in the older versions. I don't remember where they met him, but he was originally called Titan, but then I just thought, I've already got a character called Titan and Archosaurus, so I'm going to change the name. And his voice was very different as well. Again, different time, before my voice broke, but yeah, that scene is going to have ramifications for the series that follows Dino Quest, but of course it also has ramifications for Phase 3. And of course, another new character we're introduced to in Phase 2 is Gerald, who took the place of Prenuntia after he disappeared. This was kind of addressing a problem in the old series, in that that government position wasn't filled in Dino Quest 2 onwards, and I don't know why. Probably because when I was 14 I wasn't thinking too hard about it. We actually had a lot of fun with making props out of everyday objects for this series. So, like, the ropes are just shoelaces, which I found that those are going to be making a return at some point. The potion, that was just like a glass bottle for a flower sort of thing that my mum had, and we just, on the day, filled it with green food colouring and water and made the potion. Also, that spillage from episode 7 or 8, that stain was still there 4 months later. It took 4 months to disappear. Also, the cork, that's actually just a wine cork that I cut down to size with my pocket knife. And something from Phase 1 is, you might be interested at Tuatala's coffin, and it's actually an old glasses case that I still have. So, it was just the right size and shape to be a coffin. And of course, there is a whole bunch of stuff, especially in the last 2 episodes, that is setting up for Phase 3, The Edge of Oblivion. But the main thing, in my opinion, is Perseus' redemption arc. In the old Dino Quest, Perseus was kind of a secondary antagonist. Like, Prenuntia has always been the villain of Phase 2, but in the new version, Perseus is just kind of an awkward guy who doesn't want to be there, because he has barely any quarrel with any of the good guys. Like, Perseus willing to sacrifice himself when he was fighting Vegas so that the others could get out, I think that was quite a good choice. And then of course, you know, Pranantia has the potion which he gives to Vegas, which of course, having seen Phase 3, you will know is to make him a vessel for the Oblivionite Chaos. But, yeah, like, I always knew that Perseus was going to die. Like, there was no way he was going to fully redeem himself and live. So, you know, his death in episode 12, I think, was somewhat fitting. But I think I actually did quite a good job with him. Like, he acts like a guy who really doesn't want to be there, doesn't want to have anything to do with it, and he's understandably peeved about being put in protective custody, even though he knows it's for his own good. So, I'm not really sure there's much more to say. So now we get to the bit that I wasn't really planning on doing until this morning. Which is just... something has changed in regards to how I view the way I want to do things, and I think just maybe the channel in general, but not really. Like, I was not expecting the average length of episode to increase as the series went on, but Phase 3, I know this is the Phase 2 behind the scenes, but I just have to say this now. It's like, Phase 3 was real tough on me, but doing a really big project, especially alongside both a field report that I had 4 weeks to do, and then, like, preparing for my exam, it was really hard mentally. I occasionally do have these sort of epiphanies, which annoyingly happen when my brain is wandering at night, but I really don't like it. And, well, the way I told my mum was, Dino Quest nearly broke me, but I found that meditation helps. Major recommendation. If you're in the same boat as me, if you've got heaps of things going on in your life and you're trying to run a YouTube channel and all that sort of thing, meditate. Do stress-free meditation. I recommend balance. It's so good. But it has made me realise that I don't really enjoy the anthropomorphic stuff that much anymore. And especially when I got back into doing Archosaur Rebirth. And yeah, so that made me realise that long-form anthropomorphic dinosaur videos are just not going to work for me anymore. So the series that follows on from Dino Quest is going to be hopefully shorter episodes. I'm thinking like 10 to 15 minutes rather than 15 to 20 minutes. And I have split all the episodes up, so it's now going to be 9 episodes instead of 4. Sorry for going off on that ridiculous tangent. Hope you can all understand. But, yeah. I must say that, like, overall, aside from the long days stuck out in the field doing the same thing over and over again with the battle scenes, yeah, aside from all that, aside from the crazy issues that have been going on, oh, and You know, not to mention I had a seizure in the middle of filming Dino Quest Phase 3, so that got delayed by about a week. Yeah. Besides that, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Maybe comment below if you want to see behind the scenes for Phase 3. Last week of June onwards I'm going to be working on the sequel to Dino Quest. But I have decided if I get to a point where I'm just bored of it, I'm going to pause and do my next documentary instead. But we'll see how that goes. So I have no idea what my upload schedule is going to be like for the next couple of months. There is something very important coming out tomorrow, and I'll see you all next time on the other side.